your rent is far more than it would cost you to buy, to have a mortgage, remember you're actually paying someone else's mortgage when you're renting. So listen, it's that time of year when it's the high time of real estate. It is real estate buying season. And you're probably wondering, what should you do? Buy? Don't buy. So here are a couple of things I want to put on your mind to help you make a decision right now, or at least start the conversation with your real estate agent and your lender to determine which direction you should go. First, let's talk about, yes, right now is the best time to buy. If your rental note per month is much higher than it would cost for you to have a mortgage, meaning that mortgage note would be far less than your rental note, yes, this is a good time to buy. Think about your budget and what it takes for you to continue without skipping a beat to have your lifestyle intact and you not have a roaring apartment, a roaring house, or a roaring condo, wherever you live. You want to be certain that you take that into account, because what you want is your home to be a place where it's a refuge and you don't feel like it's a burden, because you're spending more than what you can truly afford every single month. So the budget needs to work, and many times you're paying more to rent someone else's property, and remember you're actually paying someone else's mortgage when you're renting as compared to when you're buying a property. When you're buying your home, it could be far cheaper every single month. So when you calculate that, and if you are looking at a $300 to $500 difference, that adds up to be a significant amount of money at the end of just one single year. So if your rent is far more than it would cost you to buy, to have a mortgage, it's time for you to buy a home. Doesn't matter what the rates are. It would be a time for you to say yes to a new address. Buy the house. Another thought is, when you actually buy a home, you are accumulating equity if you bought right. So if you've bought right, you have the opportunity to use your property as borrowing power. It gives you leverage so that you can take care of other things, from home repairs, purchasing other vehicles, taking a vacation. It could be a potential for a home equity line of credit, or even a cash out, because over time, if you've bought right and your home or the area that you live in is not declining in value, you should be at a point where it's appreciating and constantly increasing in value. That gives you buying power or borrowing power in the future. That would be a reason to say yes to buying a home. Another great reason to say yes to purchasing a home is the freedom to design and live in that home just the way you want. You no longer will have the restrictions of what you can and cannot do because you're renting the property. It's not a permanent address. You have restrictions and things that they are telling you you can't hang or you can't put in certain areas. So having the total freedom to design and to live in that home, especially your interior of your home, hanging pictures, doing paints, making it far more customized to what you love, that would be a reason to say yes to the address, compared to being a bit more restricted and not being able to make your house or your apartment your home. That would be a reason to say yes to the address if that's a really big deal for you. However, if you live in a subdivision where there are restrictions, just remember, on the exterior you may not have that much leeway of what you can and cannot do because there are restrictions for the neighborhood. But on that interior, it's 100% whatever makes you happy. And that restriction alone, for me, because I love interior design, that's a big deal for me. So you get a chance to make your home your own because you're paying for it. It's yours. One great benefit at the end of the year when you are buying your home is the tax benefit. So at the end of the year, you have an opportunity to talk with your CPA or your tax preparer and remind them you did purchase a home, and each year there is some type of a credit that you'll have for being a homeowner. So that is a great benefit to you as a buyer. and would be enough to say yes to making a change and make a move to a new property. That would be a reason to say, yes, this would be a good time for me to buy a home. You may need those tax credits at the end of the year because of your income level. Sometimes it just makes sense. Where there's a yes, there's an opportunity for a no. So here are reasons that it's probably not the best time for you to buy a home. Say, for instance, your monthly rental note is far less than a mortgage would cost for the area you prefer. Not all areas are created equal, right? So you may have a certain subdivision or school district that you really want to be within, and that area is going to predicate what the price point is. So because of the price point and because of the interest rate, because of your credit score, all of those will have a factor in what that monthly note would be. At the end of the day, you have to talk with the lender to verify what the note will be so you'll understand whether or not you're higher than what it would be for you to rent and if that actually makes sense. Should you continue to rent or should you buy? So what you do want is you want to be certain that the monthly note for whichever you do, rent or buy, matches the budget that you know helps you to continue to live, remember, that lifestyle, and it doesn't make you house poor. So at the end of your budget, you want to make certain you have some disposable income, meaning if there was an emergency or if there was a need for something to take place, whether it's at the apartment or at the house or at the rental property, you have the disposable income to be able to cover it with ease and without it being a struggle or you having to borrow money to make a repair or to make a move or to replace something. You just want to be comfortable and not let whatever your decision is, don't let that blow your budget. Now, when the sales history for the area that you prefer to live in shows that history is saying that you're going to pay not just more for the home, but you're paying far more for the home than what the area historically has sold for, that would be a reason to say no to buying in that area. Because you've said, this is the area that I want to live within because the location is great, it's close to the amenities that are important to me or to me and my family, and this is the area that I want to be within. If you're not open to kind of a larger area and it's very specific because you have specific things that matter for that area, that may be a reason to say no to purchasing a home right now. Because if that area used to sell for, let's give a price of $200,000 and now the homes are selling for $265,000 or $275,000, if it's because buyers are going through and they're making offers $20,000 and $30,000 above the asking price because it happens in this market right now, that may be a reason to say, I'm going to put a pause on it and I'm not going to make this purchase right now because it could come back to bite you later. Say you move into that area, you pay the $265,000, and then the market readjusts, and it readjusts close to what the area was selling for prior to it being so competitive and it being a scarcity of homes available on the market. That could end up being a problem for you to actually sell the property and get back out of it what you actually put into it. That would possibly be a reason to say, no, not buying a house right now because I know I want to be in this area and right now there's a fight for the properties and I want to stay within my budget and where it doesn't come back to haunt me in a few years. Now, if you're concerned about upkeep because you don't have disposable income to make repairs or updates to a property, that may be a reason to pause for a moment and save before you actually go and buy the home. So that would be a reason to possibly say, no, I'm not ready to purchase right now because I need to build a reserve in the event I ever had to make any type of repairs, replace something, or make an update that is maybe it's happening in the entire neighborhood. And for you, it's going to be something that is an out-of-pocket expense. Because when you buy a home, it's completely different from living in an apartment or living in a property where the landlord is responsible for multiple repairs and things like that within that property. If you're totally responsible, that means you need to have disposable income and not always something where you have to make a charge, but you know your budget and you know when it comes down to it at the end of the month, at the end of a quarter, you know what you have available to spend in the event something unforeseen happens and it's an expense to you. That may be a reason to say no to making the move build up the bank so that you can actually have those reserves. And when you're ready, that's when you go and talk to your lender and to your real estate agent and begin to make your moves, because you've got what you need in order to be sure that you're supported in the future should anything happen, because things happen, right? I hope this was very helpful to you. These are things that could possibly help you to say, even today, while you're watching this video, oh, well, this is a good time for me to make the purchase, or no, I actually need to wait. Either way, go back, make your list of your do's and your don'ts, and check off what is it that you know you need to make sure that you do have, or what is it that you know that you already have in place, but what are the questions that you need to ask the professionals? Ask the real estate agent, ask your lender, so that you're informed, and then you can sit down and look at the pros and cons and truly make a decision. All right, this is our time for today. Come back, make sure you click the subscribe button, leave a comment, ask me a question, and I'll get right back with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you